When most people hear the name Loma Linda, they probably think of one thing: medicine. Loma Linda University Medical Center, the Children's Hospital, the medical school. Maybe they know someone who was treated here, went to school here, or works somewhere within this massive medical community. But there's a lot more to Loma Linda than the hospitals. And for me, this city has always been personal. I grew up here in the Inland Empire, and two of my youngest brothers were actually born right here at Loma Linda University Medical Center. I can remember coming here as a kid, and now, more than 23 years into my real estate career, I've come back to these same neighborhoods countless times, helping doctors, medical students, residents, employees, parents of students, and longtime local families buy and sell homes. Some of those transactions have turned into friendships and relationships that have lasted for many years. So as we fly over Loma Linda today, I want to show you more than just houses. I want to show you what makes this little city unlike almost anywhere else in Southern California or in the entire world. Loma Linda is actually a very small city geographically. It covers less than 8 square miles and has a population of just 23,000 people. But its influence around the world is much larger than those numbers would suggest. The story here really begins in the early 1900s. The property that eventually became Loma Linda University Health had previously developed as a health resort, but that venture ultimately failed. In 1905, the property was acquired by members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and the Loma Linda Sanitarium opened that year. The medical school followed a few years later, and from those relatively humble beginnings grew what we see today: Loma Linda University, Loma Linda University Medical Center, the Children's Hospital, an entire healthcare and educational community that has become well known around the world. The university today has thousands of students studying medicine, dentistry, nursing, pharmacy, public health, and other health sciences. And that creates something pretty unique from a real estate standpoint. You have people moving in and out of Loma Linda constantly for school, residency programs, fellowships, and medical careers. Over the years, I've helped quite a few of those families. Sometimes it's a student coming here for medical or dental school. Sometimes mom and dad are helping them purchase a condo or a house rather than renting for those years while they're at school. Other times it's a physician or medical professional that's finishing their time here and then moving somewhere else to further their career. I've been fortunate enough to help build relationships throughout these transactions. You also can't really understand Loma Linda without understanding the Seventh-day Adventist influence on this community. The university itself is a Seventh-day Adventist institution, and there is still a very large Adventist population here. One of the things you'll notice if you spend enough time in Loma Linda is how different the rhythm of the city can feel from Friday evening through Saturday. For Seventh-day Adventists, the Sabbath is observed from Friday sunset until Saturday sunset. So while obviously not every resident or every business in Loma Linda is Seventh-day Adventist, the Sabbath has historically had a noticeable influence on the community. I always do my open houses here on Sundays because I know the town virtually shuts down on Saturdays. Things slow down. Some businesses and institutions close and operate differently. Families worship, spend time together, get outside and step away from the normal pace of the week. And that connection between faith, rest, and family, diet, and physical activity is actually part of what has made Loma Linda famous for something else: longevity. Loma Linda is internationally recognized as one of the world's original Blue Zone communities and the only one that's actually identified in the United States. Blue zones are places researchers have studied because of unusually high longevity among portions of their populations. And Loma Linda became especially interesting because of the longevity found within the Seventh-day Adventist community. A lot of people around the world learned about this when Loma Linda was featured in the Netflix series Live to 100: Secrets of the Blue Zones. That series explored communities around the world where people tend to live exceptionally long lives. And right here in Loma Linda, researchers have studied some of the lifestyle characteristics common among the Adventists. Things like plant-forward diets, regular physical activity, strong family and community connections, faith, having a sense of purpose, and that weekly Sabbath where people intentionally disconnect from work and reconnect with their faith, family, and community. So when you're driving around Loma Linda and you see people walking, riding bikes, or using the trails, there's actually a bigger cultural story behind some of that. One of the places that represents that outdoor side of Loma Linda is Hulda Crooks Park. And if our drone is flying over this area, you'll see why this is one of my favorite parts of the city. Sure, you got the park itself, walking areas, recreation, and then the trails that head up into the hills behind the community. This is one of the places where early in the morning or towards sunset, you'll see people walking, running, and especially riding bikes heading into the hills. And those hills create a beautiful natural backdrop for the neighborhoods on the south side of Loma Linda. But there's another park here that has much more personal connection for me. And that's the baseball fields where our travel ball organization used to practice. I can remember sitting through Loma Linda City Council meetings, working to secure those reservations and our ability to use those fields. It wasn't just about finding somewhere to practice baseball. For us, it was about having a place where we could pour into the next generation of young ball players, teaching the game, teaching discipline, teaching responsibility and teamwork, and building relationships with kids and families. So when I fly over these fields today, I don't just see a city park. I see all the practices, all the kids, all the families, and all the memories. Another major institution here is the Jerry L. Pettis Memorial Veterans Hospital. The VA has been serving veterans in Loma Linda since the late 70s, and today serves veterans throughout San Bernardino and Riverside counties. So healthcare really defines both sides of this community. You have Loma Linda University Health, the massive medical and educational network that surrounds it, and then you have the VA serving tens of thousands of veterans across the region. Those institutions also create a tremendous employment base and contribute to the stability and demand you tend to see in the surrounding housing market. Location is another reason Loma Linda is so interesting. You're positioned right near I-10 and I-215, which makes this an incredibly central location within the Inland Empire. Head east, you're almost immediately in Redlands. Go west towards San Bernardino and Colton. Just southwest, you've got that Cooley Ranch area we just reviewed last week. Another community I know extremely well from growing up in this part of the Inland Empire. You're also within reasonable commuting distance of Highland, Grand Terrace, Riverside, and other employment centers throughout San Bernardino and Riverside counties. And because the city itself is so compact, you can live in a residential neighborhood and still be just minutes from the university and hospitals, shopping, restaurants, and the freeway. The housing in Loma Linda is also more diverse than people expect. You'll find older established neighborhoods that have been here for decades. You'll find condos, townhomes that can be especially attractive to students, medical residents, and people who don't necessarily want or need a large property. And you'll find traditional single-family neighborhoods. As you move south and toward the hills, you'll find newer homes and communities with some beautiful views across the valley. You'll also notice that the neighborhoods immediately surrounding the university have their own unique real estate dynamics. Because of the constant population of students, residents, physicians, and university employees. And that's why understanding Loma Linda real estate isn't about just looking at a citywide median price. Sometimes moving only a few streets can change the type of housing, the buyer pool, and even the strategy that I recommend when buying or selling in Loma Linda. I think that's ultimately what makes Loma Linda such an interesting place. It's a small city with a worldwide reputation. It's a medical community. It's a university town. It's a faith-influenced community. It's a blue zone. It's a place where people come from all over the world to study medicine and healthcare. It's a place where veterans from across the IE come for care. But it's also just a hometown. There's kids playing baseball here, families walking the trails, people riding bikes behind Hulda Crooks Park, students trying to get through medical school, doctors raising families, people who have lived here for generations, and families like mine who have memories going back decades. Two of my younger brothers started their lives right here at Loma Linda, and I remember coming here as a kid. Later, I came back to these parks as a coach, sitting in city council meetings and fighting for field space so we could pour into those young ball players. And for more than 20 years, I've come back again and again as a realtor, helping people buy and sell homes and building relationships with people who came to Loma Linda from all over the country and all over the world. If you're considering buying or selling a home in Loma Linda, Redlands, Yucaipa, or anywhere throughout this part of the Inland Empire, I'm happy to be your resource. And if you enjoy learning about neighborhoods, history, and communities that make this part of Southern California unique, follow along. I've got a lot more to show you.